Welcome to the battlefield of the boardroom, 10-minute talk on tactics. You have Philip Folsom and Colonel Garth Massey. We are here to talk about things that make us all successful in business, in life, in our jobs. We got a clock running today. We have 10 minutes to go over one key idea with you, and we're going to give you 2 tips each. So we broke that down in outline format to make it complicated. But we're doing it every week, and we've done it every week for months, which brings us to our topic for today, accountability. And the whole idea of how do we stick to things through the tempest, through the storm, through the troubles that are certain to come, and also, very importantly, through all the joys, because there is nothing that will kill your future sales like celebrating too much over a current one. So on that topic, today's topic, accountability. Philip, good to see you again, buddy. I went outside today because I'm by my apple tree, because I'm holding little flowers you see, accountable for making apples. So I can have pie in a couple months.
Somebody told me to lead like a gardener.
Ooh, yes, I remember that. Well, so thought we'd change it up just a little bit today, but all right, so 2 tips. You want to go first?
Oh, all right. Yeah, I will go first. Okay. Accountability is massive. It sounds cliche and threadbare. However, it is one of the core things that if you don't have some level of skill, mastery, integration of this topic, you're going to struggle in every capacity of your life. Fitness, relationships, money. I mean, this is the core thing, because we are not designed to be these self-reliant pillar lone wolf creatures moving through the world. We need other people. So the accountability factor is obviously interpersonal, right? It has to do with other people. So there's 2 big factors to this that I want to just throw down first. The first one is around strangers, right? This is the giant pride-based world that we move through. Accountability is tough because you don't have alignment, reciprocity, collaboration. And so in that pride-based world, we interpret the idea of accountability as shame. Like, oh, I'm not doing enough, or I'm not enough, or I'm inadequate, or whatever. It's looked at as a threat to our sovereignty and our humanity. In honor-based cultures, such as the one you're currently in, and a lot of other high-performing corporate groups and sports teams, instead of it being shame, it's viewed as accountability, as a positive. And so that's the first difference, is to realize, how am I interpreting this enforcement of what my greatness is from other people? Am I interpreting it as shame, or am I interpreting it as accountability? Really, really important dynamic in terms of how you're utilizing your people. And so be really careful about that. So that's my first one, the difference between shame and accountability based on the culture you're in.
Yeah, I mean, you could easily, and even accidentally as a leader, turn it into shame without meaning to, and then crush everyone. All right, so my number one, and maybe it's a bit of a stretch, I've been lamenting about it, is to be present. And I mean that in a way to say that when we talk accountability, right, we talk about like, oh, you got to tell your friends and set your goals and write them down. I think you also just need to show up. There's an old joke in the Marine Corps. Everything's acronyms, and we have one called BAMCIS, BAMCIS, right? And the joke is, it's the D in BAMCIS, and the D stands for do it. Like all the other acronym things are about preparatory and reading maps and going out places and making reconnaissance, but the D is about doing it. And I think that's all about being present. It's about showing up. It's you put your workout clothes on the floor so that when you wake up, they're there, you're there. So you put them on and you do it. You don't place yourself in this position where every day for every event, you have to make choices. So the being present part includes things like putting on pants when you're on Zoom calls, showing up on time for meetings. Like, put yourself in the place where you will do the work, because to not be present means you won't do the work. Eventually you'll slip. That's number 2.
Nice. All right. My next one about accountability, and this is kind of connected to my last one. One of the many things, like, I work with wolves a lot.
Right.
Brought them out to a lot of your programs. Is
as often as
wolves,
possible.
Wolves have what we call healthy conflict. They fight all the time, but it's not this initially very threatening, terrifying combat or struggle for hierarchy that it looks like, because we're in this pride-based world that looks at any form of conflict as being threatening. So it could just be accountability, but we're taking it as shame. It could just be any type of reinforcement. And what the wolves do is oftentimes the lower hierarchy wolves will initiate what looks to be conflict with higher ranking wolves. And it's not based on conflict. It's based on accountability. They are simply what looks to be testing, but actually inquiring. Are you still able to lead, protect, hunt, provide, all of these things? And so a lot of times our people who, you know, are your direct reports, are your family, they're holding you accountable by simply testing and questioning. And that's part of this feedback loop that accountability is. And so a lot of times when your people are pushing and you're as a leader, you take it as being a threat to your sovereignty. It might just be a disguised accountability. And it's an opportunity for you to actually keep the tools sharp and give them the feedback that, yep, I am recommitted and I am that guy or gal.
Yeah. Oh, that's actually true. Cause you're right. We do look at any kind of prodding as a contest, and it doesn't have to be. It could just be a check-in.
Yep.
All right. So my last one on this one is, and just to make it slightly different than just saying, you know, set your goals, is fear. I think fear can be a very helpful or healthy thing. There's an old joke when you're running a sales team, like the best thing a new salesperson can do is go lease a brand new car, right? So they have debt because then they are afraid of not meeting quota. They've got to go hit their marks. Now, I'm not suggesting you leverage yourself out to the hilt in order to be driven, but understand that fear can be very healthy. It lets you know you're alive. It lets you know you're in the game. It lets you know you're still fighting. It keeps you sharp, right? Now, you don't want to run max out on your adrenaline and your fear factor all the time. But I think there's some value in accepting a degree of fear, right? And letting that hold you accountable. Like, you know, the fear of failure is a good thing. But I find a lot of people, they start to be afraid that they're not going to be good enough, or they're not doing enough, or they haven't done it right. And then they let that fear just completely shut them down. And it's not about shutting you down, right? It's about using it to sharpen the edge. So fine little line. And that's it today, right?
Dude, that was perfect. Eight minutes.
8 minutes. All right. Well, hey, great to see you all again this week. I love the comments we were just talking about. We've both been hitting up on some private chats. If you guys want to talk more about this with either of us, if you want to join us, I think we can set this thing up for multiple people, or we can set up multiple ones of these. If you guys have an idea that needs to get out there, that's going to change people's lives, let's get that message out, whether it's to veterans or to small business owners or to middle-sized managers or any type of person out there that's looking to accelerate themselves. That's what we do. And we learn by teaching, or at least by talking about it. So let's get your ideas out. Hit us with a private chat, and we'll schedule time and join you too. If not, see you next Wednesday.
Yep. Carry on. Thank you, Colonel.
Yep.
Whoop, whoop.